looking at different positions, and tight end's an interesting one because it doesn't feel like a need. We would, Dave, you and I would lament the fact they didn't use them much, and then we saw last year they go those 3 tight end sets you really liked, and then unfortunately Will Dissly suffers another odd injury. I can't remember how Pete termed it, something like, we haven't seen this one before or something like that. I can't remember how he talked about it, but it was just didn't make you feel good.
Yeah.
So perhaps I don't know how big of a priority tight end will be in the draft. But I'd be stunned if they didn't take one somewhere in those 10 picks, and you've got a guy that you've highlighted here.
Yeah, I took a look at a guy named Luke Musgrave, and before we get to that, I mean, when you look at if Dissly is okay, and like you said, it's really weird. Actually, why don't we listen to Pete on the uncertainty as far as his timeline to return?
Yeah, Will's doing really well. Well, Will's doing well at this time. He's probably, there was some question marks in that process for him. Whether they're going to have to do surgery after they gave him a chance to recover. He's recovered, so there's no surgery in the near future.
I'm almost disappointed when I hear there's no surgery, because I feel like
what?
Well,
when
you have a surgery,
are you?
It's like you fix it and you move on. I feel like it's a gamble to not do that, I guess. But look, the Seahawks, they obviously their knee doctor, I trust myself. So,
yeah.
I think they're doing the right thing there. But, yeah, I loved every moment of the 3 tight end set. There was a lot of things that happened. Colby Parkinson developed into being a really good blocker. I mean, I'll say this, much improved blocker.
Yeah.
So, but and that's where this guy is a little light, and that's Luke Musgrave. Now, tight end out of Oregon State, only played in 20 games in college. And this is what makes this guy really interesting, because the Seahawks have, the number 20 pick. There's some people saying that Luke Musgrave, because of his athletic ability and everything, could climb into the first round. But there's also people that have him, at 27th, or I'm sorry, in the second round at like 40, 45, and then even some in the third round. So, and our guy, Bumgardner, who we had on from the Athletic, he has him at 41 going to Tennessee. But so, I mean, if you look at his college career, I mean, he played 2 games last year. He got hurt with like 30 seconds left in a game. Not great numbers there, but his athletic ability. And the one thing that always perks my ears up, Bob, is when they have a good Senior Bowl. Because, Jim Nagy, who used to be a scout with the Seahawks, he runs the Senior Bowl down there, and he had a really good Senior Bowl. And he's just really fast, top 8 as far as, I guess, players clocked at the Senior Bowl. So they clocked these guys, on miles per hour, and he was 20.05. He was the 8th fastest player clocked at the Senior Bowl, which is pretty amazing considering you got corners and running backs and receivers and all that stuff. So, I mean, and this is all the other good news about that is that projects to a 4.5 40. Well, he ran a 4.61 at the combine. So to me, that says that he runs fast on the field. Some guys are really good, run the 40. It just shows me that he plays faster than he really is. And, that's just, like chasing a bone, basically. There's a ball up in the air, and you're gonna do whatever it takes to get there. But anyway, the Seahawks have a number 20 pick. They have 37, number 52. Those are both in the second round. They even have number 83 at third round. That might be where he falls. But, yeah, the tight end, I think that they really thought that position that sort of came into fruition last year because of the way that they were using those guys. If, let's say they don't take a tight end, any tight end, because there's a lot of really good ones. Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota. There's a guy out of Notre Dame. But even if they don't, I really like Tyler Mabry. I mean, he's from the pandemic year, and he was an undrafted free agent. And I think he caught a touchdown last year, but he was a good blocker in college, and he can catch the ball. And I think they might be okay going with him, Noah Fant, Colby Parkinson, and then hopefully, Dissly, if that works out.
So, I mean, how if they get the word, hey, Dissly's fine, he's ready to go, he's 100%. What's the level of urgency in your mind for tight end? Like, do you still look at it and go, hey, you can't play? I look at it going, we love Disley. We love him. Unfortunately, the biggest part of his story has been his injuries, and none of them have been nagging hamstring or a twisted ankle. They're all serious. This one I don't even know. I don't know what this one is, but
this is almost worse. I feel like because you don't know what it is, right?
Yeah. So I don't. I mean, I almost feel like they've got to prepare for his absence. That you can't all of a sudden feel like, hey, he's going to be more durable than ever. That's generally not how that goes. So, to me, we've talked so much about defensive tackle and defensive end and guards, every linebackers, every other position, even cornerbacks more than we've talked about tight end. I feel in talking about this, it feels like it should be a bigger priority because you can't look at Will and go, we're fine, because you're not.